Ghostbusters! Alright, hey, you too. It is Major G. I'm back with another reaction. This time it is for the official brand new Ghostbusters reboot. Now, as for whether it's a reboot or a sequel, I do not know. Because I have not been paying a lot of attention to it because I would just like to be surprised. I wanted to, as I mentioned in some of my past videos, I'm not the kind of person that looks for every single image as it comes out. Oh, look, there's the original Janine walking around on the set. I didn't know she was going to be in it, but she's in it now. So I'm not one of those people. I like to wait for the trailer, wait for the movie, see what's going to happen. Hopefully the trailer doesn't give away too much stuff. And I just like to be surprised. I like to enjoy my experience of going to the movie. But yeah, so this is for the brand new Ghostbusters. They finally came out with a trailer. Oh, today. They just came out with the trailer today. And I am a Ghostbusters fan. Here's the funny thing. I am old enough to be a fan of the movies. However, I grew up more on the cartoons. So while I do like the movies, especially Ghostbusters 2, unlike most people, I think I like Ghostbusters 2 slightly more. But above those, I'm a big time fan of the cartoon, the original cartoon, because there were 3 of them, and I wasn't a fan of the last 2. I did watch the second one a lot, but I wasn't a fan of the last one really. I just couldn't. I don't know. Maybe it was the art or something, or just like the old team. I don't know. I was like one of those Ninja Turtle hipsters that only prefers the cartoon, even though it's totally silly and inaccurate. Yeah. So, so you had, of course, the original, and I'm not talking about the Filmation Ghostbusters with the girl and the buggy, this dude buggy. I am talking about the real Ghostbusters, with my dudes, Egon, Winston, Peter, and Ray. And so there were 3 cartoons. The first and second kind of blended together, which is why some people might look at me weird when I say there was 3 cartoons. But there were 3 cartoons. There was the real Ghostbusters, there was Slimer in the real Ghostbusters, and then there was the Extreme Ghostbusters. Wait a second. Yeah. So the real Ghostbusters followed the original team, and I actually have the series. I have the entire cartoon series. I need to go back and start. Well, I watched some of it. I watched a good chunk of the first season, or rewatched a good chunk of the first. Watched a good chunk of the first season because I realized I hadn't actually seen much of the first season when I was a kid, because I used to watch it every Saturday morning. Yeah, my favorite was always Ray. I was a big time Ray fan. I loved Ray. Because Ray was like goofy, but he was like an undercover genius, and I felt like that's how I was when I was a kid. I was really goofy, but like an undercover genius. Like Ray would, like Peter had always faked his doctor's stuff, so he was like, "Yeah, Egon, why don't you explain all of that sciencey stuff in English?" And then Ray would explain it. Ray was like the go-between, and yeah. So then. And that was the real Ghostbusters. And that was actually, for an 80s cartoon, the real Ghostbusters was actually kind of freaky. Like, there were some seriously scary moments in that. Like, especially the Sam Hain episodes. Anything with Sam Hain, wow, Sam Hain was such an awesome villain. Sam Hain is the original term for, more or less, one of the original terms for Halloween. And, in the real Ghostbusters, they made him the spirit of Halloween. So Sam Hain was like this guy with a big pumpkin on his head, and he had the pumpkin was his head. Sorry, he had a big pumpkin for a head, and he had this long cloak, and he was really scary, and he was actually competent. Like he was an actual competent villain. Like both times he showed up, he actually like had them down for a time. Like he actually beat them. So yeah, he was actually pretty scary. And then there was the episode where they go into the parallel universe and where they meet the reverse Ghostbusters who bust humans, and that was a scary episode too. Um, let's see, and then the Slimer and the real Ghostbusters got hit by sitcomification, as I like to call it. It's not a real word, but I just call it that because that's what happens when something becomes overly popular. And the network's like, hey, we really like this thing that's really popular. Why don't we make it for everybody? And thus ruins the entire concept. The producers step in and they start throwing. That's where you get the what's that TV trope called? Executive meddling. That's what it is. You get the producers coming in and saying, no, we want this to change. Perfect example, RoboCop 2 is a perfect example of something like that. I'm already 6 minutes in. RoboCop 2 is a perfect example of that. RoboCop 2, there's a scene where OCP rebuilds like he gets destroyed by the bad guys. They take him apart with a jackhammer. And so when OCP puts them back together, they're like, oh, they go to the community and they're like, oh, so what should we do to make RoboCop better? And they're like, well, why don't we make him more friendly to kids? Because he was too standoffish, or he was too robotic, or whatever. And he should like want to clean up trash or something like that. Like he should care about the environment and this and that. And they kept adding all these extra directives because originally RoboCop only had 4. Which was protect the innocent, serve the public trust, and something else. I forgot what it was. And then the last one, which was a secret one, which was he can't arrest OCP employees. He can't arrest OCP employees. And then they started adding all these extra directives to him, and he just made him crazy. Like he started doing all this crazy stuff. Yeah, so it was just goofy. I'll play that scene. So that's what happened with Slimer and the real Ghostbusters. It was all about Slimer, and it was about this goofy scientist that was trying to always capture Slimer, and I think that was the one that also had the kids. They were junior Ghostbusters who were introduced in the original cartoon series. And they didn't really bring him around that much. In fact, the Ghostbusters were like, no, you guys need to go home. Leave this for the professionals. And they would always want to try and join in adventures. And then in Slime and the real Ghostbusters, they actually did do some stuff. And it was just a really stupid series. Looking back on it, I enjoyed it as a kid, but it was really kind of dumb and had nothing. It really took away from the Ghostbusters. Like what happened with Family Matters and Steve Urkel. Instead of being about, it was supposed to be about the Ghostbusters, but Slimer and the real Ghostbusters was actually about Slimer, and that stupid scientist always trying to capture him. And then Extreme Ghostbusters came out in the 90s, and that completely changed the team, except Egon. Egon was the only one who was left, and he was like their advisor. There was a new team of younger Ghostbusters, and Egon was like their advisor, and they would go out and bust ghosts. I didn't really watch that one, though. I probably should at some point. I'm speaking really fast because I really should get onto this. All right, so I'm going to get onto this, the Ghostbusters trailer. Here we go. Poor scientist. If you can call Peter a scientist. Maybe on paper he's a scientist. The firehouse is still there. I guess this is.
For apparition. It's okay. She seems peaceful.
I guess this is a sequel.
Aaron Gilbert, Doctor of Particle Physics.
You got slime.
That stuff went everywhere, by the way, in every crack. Very hard to wash off.
We have dedicated.
Oh, is that the chick from SNL? Yes, that is.
Sightings all over the city.
Oh.
There are people out there that need our help. Holtzman, you're a brilliant engineer. Aaron, no one's better at quantum physics than you. We can provide a real service.
I'm joining the club.
You guys are really smart about this science stuff, but I know New York. And I can borrow a car from my uncle.
You didn't disclose that the vehicle was going to be a hearse.
It's a Cadillac!
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, did you want to?
Sorry, I'll let you.
Next time.
I can see who they're replacing.
Someone is creating a device that.
Is that Slimer? They brought back Slimer?
And we might be the only ones who can stop it. Holtzman, come on. The hat is too much, right? Is it the wig or the hat?
Why does that dude look like Beetlejuice? Oh, that's awesome.
There's a bigger picture at hand here. These ghosts can possess the human form.
Oh, that's new. Oh, that's new.
Oh, hell no, the devil is a liar! Get out of my friend, Ghost!
Ow, that's gonna leave a mark.
The power of pain compels you!
Okay. That looks interesting. I will go and see that. Yeah, I plan on going to see that. That was interesting. So, I'm still kind of confused as to whether or not it's a, whether or not this is a remake or a kind of spin-off. That's the word, but a remake or a spin-off. So it might be a spin-off because they say 30. They referenced the 30 years ago. I would like to see like Dan Aykroyd or Ernie Hudson or even Bill Murray just kind of standing in the background going, "I remember those guys. That was us," or something like that. That would be interesting to see. If it is in fact at least a spin-off, if it is actually taking place in the same universe and all that. Or they are inspired by the original Ghostbusters or something like that. So yeah, I could actually see who they're replacing. So you have Kristen Wiig, who is the Egon character. Melissa McCarthy is the Ray character. What's her name? I can't think of her name. I've seen her in a bunch of stuff. I can never remember her name. I don't know why. But the black girl is the Winston character. And the blonde girl is the Peter character. And you can tell based on their types. Like, Kristen Wiig's the super smart one, that's Egon. Melissa's the goofy person, but knows her stuff, that's Ray. You got the business-minded person who is the blonde chick. I can never remember her name. And then you have the black girl who is in along for the ride, basically. And that's Winston. Winston was just along for the ride. So, yeah, I know probably most of you guys are going to recognize, at the very least, Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy. The black girl, I'm sorry I can't remember her name, but they've all been on SNL. Melissa McCarthy is the only one who hasn't starred on SNL. But the black girl's on SNL right now. She's also been in a ton of movies. I want to say it was Jay Farrow who recommended her to SNL. And she's actually very funny. She was in a bunch of movies from in the 90s, and I just wish I could remember her name. But she usually played side characters from what I remember. I think if that's the person I'm thinking about. And the blonde chick, oh, she's hilarious. I love her. She is, which makes it so sad that I can't remember her name. But she's on SNL now, and she does these great impressions. She's the one who does all the Justin Bieber impressions, and they are hilarious. Like, hey girl, and she's the current Hillary Clinton. The Hillary Clinton one. If you saw my my Burn Your Enthusiasm clip, I think there's a scene where I show Larry David of Bernie, and she might be in there. She plays Hillary Clinton, and she plays a very, very funny Hillary Clinton. Joe Biden's gonna join the race? Okay, Joe! And you're gonna like the team you're gonna like the new me and my team have created this year. Those are great. But it looks actually like it's going to be a pretty interesting movie. They're definitely doing something different, which was that in the original Ghostbusters. They never actually did any kind of possession stuff. No, that's a lie. Sorry, no. That is not true. The first movie they did possessions. I forgot about that. But they got possessed by gods, not by spirits. And then there was the one with the painting. Yeah, in the second one, the ghosts possess the nerdy guy from the museum. Yeah, so sorry, no, that wasn't the first time that wasn't really new. They have done possession in both movies. I don't know how I forgot that. Yeah, Peter McNichol, that's who it was, the boss from the museum. Yeah, he got possessed by the Carpathian. Vigo the Carpathian, yes, Vigo the Carpathian. And he kidnapped the baby and everything. Yeah, so they're going back to possessions, which is interesting. It's a pretty cool concept. I am looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next and how this is going to be different. What they bring that's new or interesting to this movie, besides it just being for women. So yeah, here we go. All right, so that's it. That's it for me, I guess. I don't think I really have anything else to say. Just be on the lookout. There's probably going to be another trailer coming out before it comes out. Hopefully, once again, they don't give out too much information like some of these trailers have been doing recently. And so, until next time, I will see you guys later. Booyah.